Today we celebrate the 10th birthday of a company that already convinced over 500,000 users worldwide. Moreover, they won the German Founder Prize in 2013 in the category of startups. Every day, 35 employees ensure that their customers' highly sensitive business data are well protected. And this company was founded in 2011 by Andrea Pfundmeier and Freudenreich and is called Boxcryptor. And I'm very much looking forward to talk to both of them about their team spirit, about the past 10 years and about the political importance of protected data. But most important, I'm looking forward to get to know both of you and talk about your philosophy. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Hi, thanks.
So now you can look back on 10 years, which is amazing. How do you feel and did you expect it back then, Robert?
First, it feels great. Even if we are 10 years older, when we launched Boxcryptor and founded the company Secomba behind the product, we did not have much expectations. So we were university graduates. We were not expecting too much from the future. But we knew that we wanted to start a company and build our own destiny. And I think we did pretty well.
Definitely. How do you feel?
It's amazing. So back then when we started, we didn't think that the company might evolve in this way and that 10 years later we'll be sitting here in our office with our whole team. It's good. We still feel, I think, fresh and young and full of feel the team spirit and the energy. And we are looking very optimistic into the next 10 years.
Yeah, I can totally agree. I absolutely feel this energy here in the room. So let's talk about how did you came up with the idea of Boxcryptor, Robert?
So initially, when we came together after finishing our university, we had a completely different idea in mind. And we started to work together. We had another teammate which was in a different location. And we needed to collaborate on various files and documents, and we needed a solution for it. Back in 2011, cloud storage providers like Dropbox were the rising stars on the horizon. But for me as a technical person, from a technical perspective, the inherent data security issues associated with cloud storage, and I think for Andrea, as a law person, the law in requirements were pretty obvious that we need additional security for these services.
So Robert developed encryption software for Dropbox, which was at the very beginning only an internal solution. And then we also launched a very early access version and got very positive feedback. So we put it in a forum, and within a couple of days, more than 1,000 users downloaded the first version. And then we knew we have a product that actually solves a need on the market.
So have the product also been changed or expanded during the past 10 years?
Yes, the product changed in the same way that our team in the company changed. Back then, it were only the two of us, so we needed a solution that works well with a very small team and also only for Dropbox. And during the years, as the team grew, also our company grew, the client grew, and we had different needs from the clients. They wanted to use different storage providers, use the software on different devices. And so during the past years, we added more and more features, and the product got more complex.
So now that you've talked about your customers, are there more private or business users, and which branches do they represent?
In general, when we started out 10 years ago, we had a complete and pure focus on the B2C space with end users as customers. But we quickly received feedback also from companies that they also need such a solution to protect their business critical and mission critical data. And so after 2 years, we decided to flip the product from a pure B2C focused product to a B2B focused product, which also caters the business needs. So in 2013, we relaunched the product with a very team and business focus. And so right now, our customer base is approximately 50% personal users and 50% business users.
And also the type of businesses that use our product has changed during the years. In the beginning, these were only small users, small clients, small teams. And today we can also serve large enterprises, which also use our product on a day-by-day basis. And this is something that makes us very proud that we can now serve any kind of business with the data protection for cloud services.
And Boxcryptor was, so to say, born and raised in Augsburg, and today we're also sitting in Augsburg, so you're still located here. What is so special about Augsburg? Why have you chosen Augsburg?
Augsburg is special because it's our hometown. We both grew up here, we are both strongly connected with the region, and for us it was clear that it's a beautiful place to live. And as Boxcryptor is a pure digital product, we think it doesn't matter where we develop it, as the clients can use it all over the world.
Yeah, definitely. So your plan is also to stay here?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Our team is almost completely from the region. So normally they also all work here in the office. They are all connected here, have their families here, have their teams here. And we're also convinced that the region offers a lot of benefits. So we have very good universities here where we can recruit people directly from university. Augsburg is big enough also to have more senior people to hire. And we do not feel any urge to go away from here.
Yeah, great.
So we have always been asked at the beginning of our journey, why don't you move to Silicon Valley or at least Berlin or Munich? But as Andrea mentioned, we think that great software companies can be launched anywhere in the world, and great software products can be built anywhere. And fast forward 10 years, this decision was correct.
What is also very special about you two is that you founded the company as a team. We have to say, not as a couple. What would you think? What are the advantages when founding as a team and not as a only founder? So when you're doing everything on your own, what would you say?
First and foremost, starting a company together is going on a really, really long journey. And so you need a really, really good co-founder because first it's better and it's more fun.
Yes, and we're working together 10 years now, and we discuss a lot of things. We share experiences, and sometimes we just need to talk and say, oh my God, I don't know, what do I want to do, what's happening here? And it's always good to have another person who's in the exactly same situation. Of course, you can talk to friends or other business owners and share experiences, but they have different companies, different experiences. And we too, we know everything about each other, about how we run the company. And it's always good to have a shoulder to cry on, and also to celebrate successes together.
But how have you identified each other 10 years ago?
We met at university. So we both attended a student event for entrepreneurship. So we met there, we didn't knew each other before, and then we stuck together.
What a cool story, and also that you're still a very, very great working team. Let's talk about your product milestones, because 10 years is, for a startup, a very long time. What would you say were your biggest milestones?
As I mentioned already, the shift to the business space was very important in 2013. Following this direction, we expanded our offering to enterprises in 2017. And lastly, last year, when the whole world was sent into a lockdown and home office environments, we developed a solution for Microsoft Teams to secure data in Microsoft Teams. And this was, I would say, the latest, most important addition to the product.
And were there also any mistakes during those past years, 10 years, that you would look, what would you do differently today? Or is everything fine and everything was a great experience in your opinion?
The good thing is we didn't do any too big mistakes, otherwise we might not be in today's situation. So I think we did most things right. Of course, there were minor mistakes or also lessons learned that we had. One, for example, is that the team is very, very important, and the better the team, the easier everything else. So this is one big lesson learned that we had, but the good thing is no big mistakes.
I can totally agree. We are all humans, everybody makes mistakes, and it's also important that also employees are allowed to make mistakes, because everybody learns and earns experiences from mistakes. So if you make mistakes, you grow as a team and as an individual. The important part is that those mistakes are not as severe enough that they can take down the whole company.
Which I think is also a very important message for younger startups, so that you can make mistakes, but you need to learn from them. And the other way around, what would you always do exactly the same way, Andrea?
I think one thing is always to start the company as a team. I think we're a great team, and this was definitely one of the first and best decisions. And the second one is to build a company around a product that actually has a need in the market. We think with Boxcryptor we really solve a problem, and this makes a lot of other things that come behind the product and the starting of the company a lot of easier.
Yeah. Anything to add?
No.
I totally see that you're a great team, completely aligned. Which is also highly discussed at the moment is the topic about female founders, and especially in the tech industry, there are rather little female represented. Andrea, so I would be highly interested, what were your experiences? Have you ever had a disadvantage as a female?
First of all, I think the situation got better during the last 10 years. So when I remember 10 years ago when we went to events or started to look out for an investor, I was really the only woman in the room. And one thing that really helped me was to have also a co-founder, Robert, who also put me in the middle of discussions. So for example, when we met investors and they asked us questions and Robert knew it's my topic and I know the most about it, then he said, please ask Andrea. She can tell you, and go to her and she can help you. And that was very important. So actually for me the situation was not too bad. I also had the feeling that sometimes it's an advantage if you're the only woman in the room, because people can see you better and you're more present than the 10th or 11th man in the room. But of course you need to have the self-confidence to go there, and as long as you know you're good, I think you can make a good job even if you're the only woman within men.
And in 2017 you were also awarded with the Forbes 30 Under 30 award. Has that changed also something?
It hasn't changed too much. So during the last 10 years, we got a lot of different awards, which often helped us, especially for ourselves. So we got the award and we knew, okay, we're doing some things right. We are seen, people like what we're doing, people like us. But it was only one small part of the company and also of our personal success. The bigger success for me personally, also for us in the company, is of course the team that we have today, the opportunity to give so many people a job in a work environment which they like, and to bring the product to our clients. And this was for us also in the past more important than awards.
And Robert, how did you experience the situation with the female founder?
So honestly, I didn't care. So when we set out to launch the company together, I didn't care if Andrea was male or female. For me, the important part was that I need a co-founder with the right competencies, you know, who has the right knowledge, and to complete myself from the competency side. So for me, it was never a question if Andrea was the right choice because she's a female or not. I didn't care.
And you also said that it has changed during the last years, which I think is a very important and good sign. So, but from your perspective, is there anything that men can do in order to improve the whole situation?
I think Andrea already mentioned it. We can put the women into the spotlight. You know, we have lots of bright-minded and super intellectual women everywhere in the world, and we should put them into the spotlight. And of course, sometimes maybe a little push can be helpful, or a little pull. So I know when we initially discussed should we start the company or not, I know that I dragged her a little bit along with me, and maybe that helped her a little bit. But in general, we just trust them to do a good work.
Do you think that there are already enough role models?
I think definitely not. There have to be more role models. It's something that I also did a lot during the last years. I went to schools, to universities, and told about my own story, what I did. And it's important to show other women also that I don't do anything different than they do. Mm-hmm. So if I can do it, everybody can do it. And that's something that's very important. And this is also the reason why I take every chance that I have to tell my story, to go on stage, for example, to show others we, the women, are out there, and if we can do it, everybody else can do it. And that's the very important thing. Also, for example, here in the region, we're in Augsburg, so you don't have to be successful. If you want to be a successful woman, you don't have to go to Berlin, to Munich, or anywhere else. You can do it here in your hometown. I have children now, you can do it when you have children, so that's very important to talk about it, and not only to maybe to show a glimmering picture of something that's unachievable for everybody else. But I often put an emphasis on the story that I didn't do anything different, I'm not smarter, I'm not whatever, I just did it and started, and then you take one step after the other, and in the end you achieve it.
Wow, that's a really important message in my opinion. So how can we increase the number of women in tech, especially? What do you think?
Most companies which are started and startups which are launched are very product and technology focused. So I think if we want to increase the number of female founders, we need to look a little bit earlier. And when I look back to my university career, unfortunately, women were very underrepresented. And I think that's still the case in 2021. And so we have to go to schools already and to show even small girls and kids that technology is a very interesting space, a very exciting space, that you can be very creative, and developing products and programming is super creative, which makes a lot of fun. And then if we can increase the percentage of women in the universities for the technological studies, then I think the female founders will follow on.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And I think it's really important that we also start doing something like that, because the future is digital. One more important topic that every startup has to face is investors. So can you tell us more with which kind of investors did you work from the beginning on?
We started the company in 2011, and 1 year later, 2012, we raised $500,000 from German business angels. And we made this decision because we knew from day one that we want to build an international product. Our first website was only available in English, and we wanted to address the whole market, and therefore we needed money to build the team. And we went out and presented our product and talked to different investors. And for us, what was most important was to find investors who also matched personally. So we wanted to have investors which knew and understood our views on entrepreneurship, on how to build a company. We didn't only went out to raise the money, but also to have smart minds in the back who support us as a company, us as teams, and us as founders. And we were very lucky to find investors here from Germany who invested, and they are still on board and still support us.
And Robert, what are your recommendations for young startups when it comes to a relationship with investors?
So I totally agree with Andrea. One of the most important and probably underrated requirement is that you have a very strong personal connection. As I mentioned, starting a company is a long journey, and you should try to surround yourselves with people with whom you can share this long journey. So money, of course, is important because you need the money. That's why you raise a financing round. But on the other hand, you need people with whom you can work trustfully together. So who you can trust as a founder, and who as an investor have trust in you as a founder. And we have been very, very happy and very glad that we found this type of investors. And that was definitely one of the most important and very correct decisions we did.
Yeah, now we have talked about the past 10 years and about the company itself. Let's talk about the team. And at the very beginning, I said that there are 35 people working at the company. So can you tell us more about the team, how it is composed, and also how it has developed over the past 10 years? Robert, maybe? Or who wants to start?
Women first.
Thank you. Our team is still very product orientated. So still almost half of the team is on the development side. Then also we have a marketing team, a sales team, and also the administration part and customer support. And when we built the team, for us it was important also to have people we like and where we like to work with them, and to bring in the competences that we do not have or that we need.
The team 50-50 is a very good number for our team. So as Andrea mentioned, 50% of our employees roughly work in the technical space, product development especially, and customer support, and the other 50% in non-tech related departments like marketing, sales, and administration. And at the same time, 50-50 is also roughly the split between men and women in the company. So that's also a very important part when you have a female co-founder, that it directly sets the right direction from the beginning of the company. So we have a very equal split between men and women, and that's a very important aspect of our company culture.
You already said that it's 50-50, so how important is diversity in general for you, but also which kinds of diversity do you maintain?
Diversity is a very important issue for us. From the one side, as we as founder team are diverse, and also because we see that it's important to have different people, different minds who can build a great company and a great product. So we also have diversity related to age. We have people older than 50. We have younger students from university. We have people with family, people without family. We have kind of really different people, and this is that really makes the team very good. Mm-hmm. And we're convinced if the team is very good, then also the product is good. And that's what's important for the company to be successful, to bring a good product to the market. We put this emphasis on diversity, for the one because we want to live in a diverse company and to work here. And also our clients are also diverse. We have companies from all over the world, from all kind of branches, all different company sizes, different areas, different branches. And therefore, we want to make a product that fits this market.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe your corporate culture?
I would summarize it with one very important word, and that's trust. So I think we, as an employer, put a lot of trust into our employees. And I think at the same time, our employees put a lot of trust into us as the founder and leaders of the company. Because only if you trust your team and your team members, great things can happen. And you have the room and the freedom to create a work environment where everybody is happy.
For us, it's also important to have an open atmosphere where everybody can be as free as possible in creating their own work routine, in developing the product, but also to give them structure to succeed within the team. And that's something that's very important. But I think also the culture changed during the years. 10 years ago, on Friday evenings, we all had a beer here and drank and sat together. So today, most of the employees have families at home, so they don't want to spend more time as needed in the office. They go home to their families, and that's important. Also, as the company grew, the clients grew, and we're also now focusing the enterprise market, we also got more and more professional. In the beginning, we had almost no rules and also a good environment, but not a very structured environment. And today, it's also important for our clients that we perform and that we set the right rules and can achieve the goals that we are setting ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds great. And you already talked about the trust, and I think that was one of the most important issues last year when everyone had to move to home office. Also, you had to implement a home office policy. So what was your experience during this pandemic year?
So from a business side, it went really well. So we had the team that we trust, and we knew they can also perform and work very good from home. We have the IT structure. We use almost all online tools, which you can also access from home office. So from the business side, it was not too difficult. Mm-hmm. So when we knew that Germany was going into a lockdown, we could send everybody home, told them to take chairs, tables, whatever they need from the office to have a good working environment at home, and then things went great. What's the issue that we still feel today is that, of course, you're losing the team spirit. Mm-hmm. You see each other, you can perform very good, you do your work, but what's missing is, for example, talks in the office. Normally, when somebody comes to the office, you look at them and you say, hey, you're looking good today, anything happened? Or, oh, you don't look too good, what's going on, do you want to talk? And this is something that got lost during the last year. So we know everybody's doing a good job on the business side, but of course we don't have this very strong connection on the personal side.
I think we are very grateful and in a glad position that we can live off the social capital which we built up in the past 9 years leading up to the pandemic. And so most of our employees are with us for many, many years. And so we already had the opportunity and the chance to build a strong relationship and a strong trust between each other. And so the switch to the remote setting has been going pretty well for us because we already had a very strong relationship together from working many years together. We definitely notice that it's harder to build this relationship with new employees who joined us now during this pandemic and during the remote setup. And so we're eagerly looking forward that the pandemic gets better and that we hopefully can all come together in the office again.
So now that you've also already mentioned with new joiners, but where would you say are further limits with regard to the home office policy? So where do you think a team really has to be present?
I think creativity is one very big issue. A lot of our product ideas got developed during lunchtimes. We sat together, marketing team, sales team, developers who normally don't have any connecting dots during their normal work, but they sat together in one room and they had great ideas. And this is something that's not available at the moment because we're all sitting at home in our own area without connections to the others. And I think creativity is the one that suffers most.
And I'd add serendipity. So you know that you have the opportunity to sit together at lunch, and then you talk about weird ideas which suddenly come to life when you're back in the office. And I think that's these two things: creativity and serendipity.
And what did you do to maintain the team spirit over the past year?
Of course, we try to have a strong connections to the people, to talk to them a lot. And we did some remote team events. We tried to bring the team together on events, online events to share experiences. But we have to admit it's very difficult, and we all are looking forward to the moment when we can celebrate and see each other in real person again.
Yeah. So now that you have experience of 10 years about leadership, I think the last year was also quite challenging regarding leadership. What were your learnings in total, but also specifically in the last year?
I think the most important aspect for me as a leader is to lead by example. So you have to set and fulfill the requirements which you have for your employees, also yourself. So if you want to foster specific behavior of your team, you have to live it first, and then trust the team to follow your lead.
And one thing that became especially clear during the last year is communication. And I think this is nothing where we are perfect at the moment, but we learned during the last 10 years that more communication is always better. There are many situations where we discuss things internally and then we communicate to the team, but of course they don't know what we discussed previously. We have to make sure that everybody understands and really knows what we're talking about, and this is very challenging. And a third thing I want to add again in leadership is trust. I think you can only be a good leader if you have the right team and if you trust the team to do a good performance, to bring good products to the market, to do a good job. Otherwise, leadership is, I think, possible, but very, very difficult.
And would you say the expectations of new joiners and employees have changed over the past 10 years?
I would say somebody who joined us at the very beginning, he knew that he would sign up for maybe a chaotic work environment at the beginning, as Andrea mentioned, without many rules and without many processes. I'd say 10 years in, we definitely have higher requirements for onboarding, for example, and to have processes in place to help new joiners get up to their speed as fast as possible.
Yeah. What is your opinion on that?
I think definitely professionalism and also like routines and structure is something that a person would expect when he or she joins the company today. It's luckily something that we can now offer. But 10 years ago, when we hired people, for them it was also important to be on a new company with a new product, everything new. And this was also the expectation. And today people hire and they want to have a company that's set up already.
What is your plan? Do you want to expand and hire more employees in the next 5 years?
Definitely. Our plan is to increase the team. We also increased the team during the last year, and we're still hiring. We have a lot of open positions and want to find new people for our team. That's very important.
The goal is always to reach more customers, to provide a better product, to provide a better service, and to help everybody on the world from the father storing the photos of his children in the cloud up to the Fortune 500 company to secure the mission-critical data. And the bigger our team is, the better we can help our customers achieve this.
Yeah, we already talked about that you're acting worldwide, and I'm highly interested if there are different regulations that you need to consider, and do you have to adapt your product for different markets?
In general, our target from the beginning was to build one product and not to have like 10 different products. So we still today we have Boxcryptor, which is our main focus, our main product, and we don't do any specific developments for special clients or for special regions. So this is one product. What we learned during the last year that there are, of course, especially when you're going into the enterprise market, different requirements from larger enterprises. And we saw that when we deliver the product to enterprises, that they also expect a product to be adopted to their needs.
Mm-hmm.
We are fortunate enough that as we are located in Germany, in a country with one of the strictest data protection laws and where data protection has a really, really high value in the society, that this also helps us in other regions. So we have specifically customers from countries where data protection is or data privacy is not as valued as in Germany, who actively seek out for a German solution, and so to have this made in Germany brand.
You just said it, that in Germany we have we highly valuing data protection. So I think it's also, or you say that it's a political issue, and therefore you're also politically active. Please tell us why and how are you active?
For us, data encryption and privacy was from the very beginning on a very political issue, because we think that having the opportunity to protect your data is really, from our view, a basic human right. This is also one of the reasons why our basic version is still available for free, because we want to give every user the potential option to encrypt their data and to make sure that only he or she can access the data. So therefore, we also watch closely what kind of regulations or restrictions are discussed in diverse parliaments, for example, and to make sure that our opinion that data protection is a basic right and very, very important is heard on the right positions.
Mm-hmm. And while it is very good that we have these strict laws in Germany and the European Union, unfortunately, we have to fight for it. So there are always authorities or politicians who want to restrict the use of end-to-end encryption and zero-knowledge encryption. So we have to raise our voice and represent the need for secure and private end-to-end encrypted communication.
That's a really interesting topic. I think that we really need to underline here, because in my understanding, this is a contradiction with the GDPR, which was integrated and also politically highly raised. So what is your opinion on that, and what can be done?
It's actually really crazy, because the GDPR, which was implemented to increase data protection here in the European Union, was really highly valued worldwide. So it was actually like exported to other countries who made similar regulations according to the GDPR. And we saw this as a right step in the right direction. Unfortunately, of course, there were always voices who want to have access on users' data from authorities, for example, and we want to make sure that this importance of data protection is something that's important for the users, and it's also from economic perspectives a very good reason to have a company in Europe. This is also one of the reasons why we never moved the company to the US, because we are convinced the European Union gives us the regulation that is needed to deliver our product in the best possible way.
So what can be the solution in order to satisfy the private people, the businesses, the companies, as well as the authorities?
We as a company, we build a product for our clients and their needs. So they want to protect their data, and this is what we're working for every day. We want to make sure that their data is protected. Of course, we have to make sure that we're working within the right legal environment, and we raise our voices to put emphasis on the point of how important data protection is.
And do you see also a chance that the political discussion around encryption and data privacy are going to the right direction in the future?
We hope so, and this is what we are working for. We see that it's going in the right direction, for example, from the GDPR, which was implemented a couple of years ago, and we try to bring the discussions in the right direction. Because for us, it's sure the value of our data can only be seen in the future. So today we don't know how important is our data, what might happen in the future, but it's very, very important to protect the data today to be ready for whatever kind of future we are expecting.
And can you give us some insights? How does it work? Are you also connected to other companies or your competitors in order to raise this political issue?
There was an initiative in the European Union recently which was trying to weaken end-to-end encryption, and this was the moment where we put together forces with competitors and companies working in the same field. We published an open letter to make sure that our voices are heard, and we sent it to different politicians. We put it on the website, and we want to make sure that this voice is also heard.
Perfect. I think both of you, you're great role models for every startup out there, and also for being politically active, and which is a great example. Now that we have talked about your team, we talked about the political importance, and we talked about the past 10 years, I also would like to have a look into the future for the next maybe 10 or even more years, hopefully more years. Robert, what are your specific next steps?
Well, from a company and product perspective, the launch of Boxcryptor for Microsoft Teams last year was a very important first step in a new direction. So as our customers are heavily invested in the Microsoft ecosystem, we definitely plan to expand the product to more Microsoft 365 services and to bring additional security to the whole Microsoft ecosystem. And besides that, definitely we continue our path and our journey into the enterprise space. So with each new enterprise customer, with his or her individual requirements, we learn more, and we can further improve the product to better fulfill these requirements.
And Andrea, do you have a clear vision and mission for the next 10 years? And if yes, how would you describe it?
Our vision is to provide every user with the data security he needs to use the cloud in the way he wants to. And this is something that we've trying to do during the last 10 years with Boxcryptor, which we will continue to do in the future. So data security, privacy, end-to-end encryption for users worldwide is still our mission and vision.
What a great mission and vision, because every one of us is having more and more really private data in the cloud, and we need protection here. That was a great interview. Thank you so much. And I'm sure everyone who listened also wants to know more about you. So where can they find information about you, but also about Boxcryptor?
You can find all information on our website, boxcryptor.com. They can also try the free product and learn more about our product and the team.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. So congratulations again for the 10th birthday, and all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.